What's up, guys? This is Casey, and welcome back to the channel. So, I have received a few requests to discuss what's been going on with the markets over the past few weeks and where I think we're headed as to if we're going to get a pullback or continuation or so forth. And so, without further ado, let's just kind of hop into this. So, I got a couple of things that I use for an overall indicators. When you're looking at the direction of the markets, you have to do just that. Look at the total direction of the markets. You can't use one particular stock or one particular week to get a good indication. You have to look at the overall direction, support, resistance levels, and what's going on in the news. So one of the things I do is I use the SPY as a big indicator as to where we are with overall direction of the markets, and I use this in conjunction with the big ETFs such as obviously the SPY is one of them, the QQQs, but then also the big stocks such as Apple and the tech stocks to get a good indication. And so if you take a look at the SPY, you'll see here that we are at all-time highs. So we had this is on the monthly, so let's go down to the daily here. We had just that huge drop down in March, and ever since then, it's just been smooth sailing, right? So you'll notice here that after another little small mini consolidation, it's kind of dropped down, got bought up, and then popped up. This is a very good sign that it is going to actually continue a breakout. And I say that because if you take a look here, when you had this line here, you take a look here and you see this breakout, that means that things are going to continue to go up usually. Sometimes this could be a fake out, but I typically find that that's not the case. Another good indicator, if you take a look at Apple, I use Apple as an indicator, almost like an ETF, because it's so large and it's the largest stock in the market, in the entire stock market. And because a lot of institutions that control the direction of the markets, they heavily use Apple in their ETFs and in their funds. And so it almost basically trades like an index almost, if you will, because it's just so large. And so if you take a look at Apple over the monthly, I would not normally recommend looking at monthlies if you swing trading or day trading, obviously. But for the direction of the markets, Apple is a very good indicator. And what do you see? What you see here is you see that over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, Apple has been basically it's made an ascending triangle. Now, the longer time frame that you see this ascending triangle is an indicator that it's going to likely follow through. And when you see an ascending triangle, this means that typically that the buyers and sellers, I should say the buyers are pinching the sellers that are at a significant resistance level, and that it's going to come to a head. And so if you notice that this particular month in May, they call May go away. Usually May are the month that the stocks go down, right? It's kind of getting to a head here. And so what's going to probably happen, in my guesstimation, is that we're going to see Apple have a continued follow through with this. This coupled with the fact that the SPY is looking very strong in a breakout, is giving me strong indications that I think that's where we're going. Now, what a lot of stocks like to do in institutions is to get people shaken out. A lot of the times they will drop the stock to a support level, making you think that this is going to be a short, right? So everybody sees this hitting this level and they go, "Oh my God, it's about to fall, and it's going to break out, and I'm going to buy in heavy." Then it starts to fall off, and go, "Oh no, I was wrong," and then goes psych, and then continues up. That happens more often than not, and so I will tell you that most of the time when a stock is going to break out, that's what happens. Let me show you. The same thing happened with Tesla. Take a look here at the daily. You will see that when Tesla had its, see, take a look here, back with this pattern I drew, this another ascending triangle. What do you see? Now this is on the daily, but it's over a period of months. What do you see? It had the ascending triangle, broke down, and then said psych, and then continued up. So I notice that happens more often than not. And so when I'm looking for a breakout, I'm looking for a pullback and then that breakout. Now, what happened last week? Well, what happened last week is you had a lot of earning plays. You had a lot of the tech stocks, had great earnings and they sold off. You had Netflix, that had really, had good earnings and then sold off. You also had Roku that had pretty good earnings just last week that did not sell off. You had quite a few stocks that had good earnings and then they sold off. And so what does that mean? Well, it's a couple of things. That usually tells me that that's either the shaking out people to get them to kind of sell their stocks, thinking that that's going to be the top and that it's going to continue upward. That's usually an indication for me, at least. Um, or it could mean that it's the top of beginning of a sell-off pattern, and then it sells off, and then you get trapped. The reason I don't think it's a trap session is just because, like again, like I stated, the SPY itself is showing a very bullish pattern. Then also Apple, it's over the monthly is showing a very bullish pattern. Now, does that mean that we may not see a slight sell-off here to the 120 level on Apple before it reverses and then turns around? No, that very well may be what we see. But I can tell you right now, the stocks that I have my eye on, to buy, and that I've been buying slowly, has been Apple, for the obvious reason. I have continued to buy Tesla. It hasn't done much, over the past 3, 4, 5 months. But I mean, look at this. This is ridiculous. 174 to, $600, $700. I mean, nothing pays like being patient. It just doesn't. So, it's in a consolidation pattern. What do you also see here? You see that, it had a huge red candle, got bought all the way back up. Another good indicator that it's consolidating. Another consolidation month, and then we may see a little baby dip and then a reverse and then run up. I also have my eye on Netflix. Haven't purchased Netflix. I'm not in a position in Netflix yet, but I like Netflix. They had some really bad earnings. They've had some sell-offs here. No, I'm sorry. They had good earnings, but they had a bad guidance. So with stocks, particularly when you're looking at earnings, whether or not a stock is going to go up or down, they may have really good earnings, but if their guidance for the next quarter is down, and they say, hey, we had a good month, good quarter, but we think that the next quarter is going to be really bad, then it'll sell off. Institutions go, well, I'm not going to keep my money in there. Holler at me when you get, some better earnings. And that's kind of what happened here. But as you can see, Netflix is still in this trading pattern. I don't think this is a bad buy right now. If you guys are interested in buying Netflix, I wouldn't wager half my account or anything like that. But I don't think this is a bad buy. If you take a look here, another consolidation still in that pattern. Not a bad buy, I don't think. Another stock that I've been looking at as well. I saw Roku. It had earnings last week. I saw that it was selling off. Actually, I saw that this was the day here that it was selling off. And I saw that it had a major red day, which is the day before earnings. Typically, what I find is if you have a major red day before earnings, that means it's going to have good earnings. If it has a major green day, it means it's going to have bad earnings. Not always the case. Sometimes you get caught into a trap, but more than likely, that's usually what I find. And what I saw here is I saw that it had really bad earnings, but I noticed towards the end of the day, it started getting bought up. And so that made me think that, hey, the earnings may actually be good. There may be some leaks. After hours came, shot up, boom. But what did you notice? It sold off, right? So, like I stated last week, a lot of the stocks had good earnings, and then it was selling off, and then it had continued down. If Roku is true to the pattern, this may sell off for a few days and then continue upward. But again, it all really depends on the overall direction of the stock market. The SPY looks very strong. Consolidating, runs up. The QQQs had this pullback here, right? Back in basically the beginning of March, and ever since then it's been smooth sailing. So has another little dip. I can see this continuing up as well. If you guys also notice the QQQ, if you're not familiar with it, this is basically Invesco, Invesco QQQ Trust ETF. That just basically is for it's an index tech stock fund basically. So it has the Apples and all those big tech stocks, the Googles and all that stuff. Another big company that I'm looking at as well, you may or may not have heard of this company. It's called Google. Why Google? Well, Google, I don't know if you guys recognize it or not, but Google has been, it has been solid. That is not Google. Let's try again. There we go. Google has been stupid solid, right? Huge consolidation pattern, up. Consolidation, up. Had this little pullback here back in September, October-ish, and ever since then, it's just been smooth sailing. Institutions are not selling Google. They just refuse to. Back when the QQQs had this huge sell-off here, you know what Google did? Google did nothing. Google stayed flat. It said, we're not selling off a damn thing. And then it continued upward as soon as the sell-off stopped. And then what it's doing here again, it's running up again. So Google is another good indicator as to how strong the markets are, because this stock appears to be very impenetrable. Is it very pricey? Yeah, sure, but 10% is 10%, right? whether it's 10% or 230 or 10% or 2300. It's a strong stock. And so right now, this makes me think that the markets are strong, nothing to worry about. If maybe when the QQQ starts selling off, the SPY starts selling off, Google starts having a significant pullback, which doesn't look like that's ever going to happen anytime soon. Then maybe you start getting a little worried here. But if you take a look at the weekly, right, again, go back to March. I mean, look at this. It's been a beast, right? It had a couple of weeks here, consolidated, ran up, a couple of pullbacks here. Maybe you should have bought some back here. I did not buy here, and then it's just been a beast. And so until you start to see some pullbacks here, I don't think there's anything to worry about. Would I go all in on my if you were all in cash? No, I wouldn't. But I don't think it would hurt to continue to buy a little bit more. Another 10-20% of your portfolio. And to keep some cash on the side. So that's where I think we're headed with this market right now. Again, we still have earnings seasons coming up, so let's just kind of keep an eye on it. Unless something happens with some major news of something unforeseen or unexpected, I said let's just keep the markets are plugging along as usual. Now remember, guys, as always, keep money on the side. You make money on the pullbacks, not the run ups. So that's something a lot of people don't understand. When stocks are running up, you think you're making money. This isn't where the money's getting made. Obviously, the stock's going up, you're making money, but the real money, the entering into the positions to begin to make the money, begins when stocks are pulling back. So just keep your eye on support levels. Good price points when to get in, and when you get those price points, you got to take advantage of them. So they don't come very often. They take their time to manifest and to develop. As you can see here, all the way back from January all the way up until February, an entire year, it was just making money, right? And then you had to pull back here, maybe take a little position, and then another 4 months of making money, and then another a super small pullback, and then more making money. So until we get we get a pullback, some huge market sell off. Just kind of stay the course, be patient, make some money, and I'll be making another video for you guys maybe sometime the end of next week or the week after if anything changes. And that's it. So let me know what you guys think about the video. Was this helpful? Is there anything specific that I can discuss with you guys about, like the cryptocurrency market that's been crazy right now? We have the Dogecoin. Everyone is, just acting insane over. That seems to be getting really pushed and pushed around and so forth. I may be doing a video on Bitcoin. It had that nice little pullback here. I may be doing a video on this. Let's say next week or so if you guys want to see that. But other than that, that's it. If you haven't already, please make sure that you hit that like button if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I have been trying to distribute out videos on a more consistent basis per you guys' request. So thanks for your patience with this. And other than that, I will talk to you later. Take care.